I'm Patrick Bailey with IQless.com. Today is February 1st, 2020, and in this video I'm going to be going over fixing a broken Prusa i3 Mark III where I have a broken x-axis. Okay, we'll see how well this video goes showing the repair, but to help everyone out there, I don't know how I'm going to do this video exactly, but I will be referring, for my own reference, I will be looking at the assembly guides. And so for those who may not know, Prusa has the assembly guides out on here. And so I'll put a link in the show notes to the i3 Mark III, which is what I'm fixing. And also to the links to the sub, what's broken is the x-axis assembly, but I also want to look at how it's being assembled. So what has happened, let's see if I can find a good picture to hopefully describe it. Let's see. Where's a good picture? Well, let's zoom in on this picture. So what has happened, I'll show it in more detail, is my Prusa i3 Mark III is not broken. It's actually working, but in a degraded state. So I'm just not getting the fidelity of the print that I used to get because of a funny little tweak. So over here, if I zoom in on here, and I'll grow. There we go. Over here on this side where there's this pulley, what has happened is this pulley has come loose a little bit, or the bearings inside have come loose. So it's wobbling around. And so as a result, it is working back and forth, but it's losing a little bit of that fidelity. So I've been printing for months. I stopped printing about a month ago on it, but before that I was printing several months, and most stuff was working out just fine. But one thing, we'll see how well this shows up on camera, but some of these carabiners, see, I'll give it a little something behind to tell. I print these carabiners a lot, and you can see that slit right there. This is on a good print where it looks just fine. But what's happening, see if I can show a bad one, that slit is so close. The one on the blue, you can see it actually sealed itself over. So it was so wobbly that it would just wobble just enough, and so that would end up sealing over and effectively ruin that print. But a lot of other my prints didn't actually need that level of fidelity, and they were actually fine. But still, I want to fix it. So I bought a bunch of parts from Prusa. In fact, I bought enough to replace. I didn't buy the rods. I figured those were fine. But I did. I bought enough. I can 3D print the parts, but since I'm ordering them from Prusa anyway, I just ordered their parts anyway. I know they're good. So I got enough parts to replace pretty much most of this. But we'll see how it goes, taking the least amount of part to get it back together in a real healthy situation. So I probably could do, I probably do a little bit more than I need to. Maybe I'll try to do a minimum, show what a minimum might be. And then what I'm going to do, I'm probably going to take a little more apart to take the opportunity to clean some of the stuff out while I do it. So with that, let's go rip this thing apart and get it back together and working better, because it was working before, just at a reduced fidelity. Okay, just to show the problem I'm having is on the x-axis here, it's going back and forth. The pulley over here, it might be a little hard to show. Let's see if we get a light on there. It's working, but the pulley has gotten a little, there's a pulley way back here, and it's gotten loose. You can see if I jiggle around, you can see it's moving. Can you get that or no? Mm-hmm. And that shouldn't be occurring. But it's so little that when this jerks back and forth, it affects the print a little bit, but overall it's getting most of the stuff done. So with that, let me show you what I bought to get it fixed, and then we'll try to fix it as simply as I can. So whenever I'm ordering stuff from Prusa, I like to order some extra parts too, as well as some filament. So I can print these myself, but they might obviously know what they're doing. They do a better job than I do, so I just buy them. So I don't think I need this, but I bought it anyway. But I don't even think I need this, but I bought it. I'll probably replace what I have right now. I also got 4 linear bearings, because there's 2 on each side of this. I was thinking I might have to replace both. Well, I don't have to, but while I'm in there cleaning things up, I may only replace the one side. And then I like to buy extra parts, so I got 2 pulleys. And then I also got one, this gear for this side, just in case I needed to replace that too, but I think that should be fine, but I just got replacement parts. And then also, just in case, I think my belts are fine, but I got an extra X belt and a Y belt. So hopefully, I'll probably just use this. I don't have to use these, but I'll use these, and I'll use one pulley. That's probably what I'll end up using, we'll see. Also, I got these feet, totally unrelated, so I think these are the new feet he uses, and I just thought they kind of looked cool. So
I have my little weird feet that I use, but I think that kind of might be a nice new rubber foot to replace what I currently have. So I just bought a set. I just thought they were cool, and they're cheap. I also got some filament because he makes good filament and doesn't cost me more. His filament is reasonably priced, it's just the shipping. And when I'm buying stuff already, then it kind of negates the shipping. So with that, let me talk through what I think I'm going to do, and then we'll start to do it. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'll take apart the tops off here, and then leave this everything connected. But slowly move this up, get this whole piece off, but leave the umbilical cord here and just leave it all connected so that I don't have to deal with taking it completely apart. Then once I get that off, I'm going to take some time to clean stuff up, and then I can attack this and see what I can do with that. So with that, let me quickly get these off. Oh, and there we go. Need to make sure to organize your bolts when you're doing this, because it's always fun if you lose something. Get apart. Dropping stuff over here. Okay, so I got those off, and they look pretty good after all this time. And then I'll just wind these by hand slowly, make sure they're relatively even. And I might be wrong, maybe I didn't think about the back side here. Let me see, I may have to take the umbilical cord off. Or maybe I can angle it just enough to not have to. Because that is right at the top. Oh, come on. Maybe I can just be forceful. Well, I think. Oh, there's a bar. And if I'm forceful on this side too. Get that. That bar out. I can probably. Oh, there we go. Probably not the best way to do it, but I think it'll do for now. Okay, there we go. So I got that apart. Now I will take some time and I'll just clean all this up and clean all these gears up and just make it nice. Then I'll start opening this up and see what I can do. Okay, so now what I'm going to do. It's interesting because mine, they're always doing redesign. So you can see this new piece is different. Well, it's got okay, it's hard to see. It has this little hole here because the idea is this has a better adjustment to adjust the tension. The way they did this on the old one, which is, I have the old one, is you just do it by hand. So now I want to reduce the tension here to make it easier to get this off over here. So I'm going to take two of the bolts out of here. There's one. And then hopefully that will move. If I remember correctly. And boom, you see now I can pull it. I'm going to have to do the reverse that to get the correct tension. So I'm going to do it like that just so we relieve some of that pressure. Okay, so now we'll flip this guy over, and then I will take this guy out. Right there. And that should have allow that pulley to come out. Oh, there you go. Look at all that. That just fell out of the innards. So it should look a little better than that. It's been worn down. It's been used and abused. So there you go. There's a new one where the innards should actually stay in and not be all nice and shredded. So it's just plain old worn down. That's all that's happened. So now I could reuse this one, but I got the pieces part, so I'm gonna just put the new one on completely. So I'll take this screw off this one, right there, and then this should just come right off. I mean, I didn't have to take that off. Once I got the pulley out, I could just pull this thing out. And then I'm gonna need this guy for that. And the rest of it, I can, let's see, well, oh, there's a couple nuts. There you go. There's a couple more nuts right there, you see. You gotta pull that one out to reuse. And there is one that is pushed back up in there, need to get out. So just see if I can kind of slam it out real good. Oh, well, there's a hole there, so I can work it that way. There we go. Boom. Okay, so I'll take this guy, and I took the new linear bearings out. And one thing, let's see if they show up pretty well on the camera. If you look down here,
Down on the table.
let me see, you can see the lines where the actual bearings are. May have to adjust the light. Okay, there you go. And what they suggest is to, when you put one in, put the other one in at a 45-degree angle compared to the other one. That gives you better coverage. So he's got a slit in here, so it should be pretty straightforward. If I recall, it's been a while since I put one of these in. Well, I guess I can go from either side. But then I got to eyeball it and make sure I hit at a different angle with my bearings. Can't really show this on film until after I'm done. Oh, well, maybe I have to go. Maybe I gotta go the same way. Okay, so and if you happen to not nail it, you can take it all apart. I mean, it's really easy. I remember doing this last time too. I had to I want to make sure I get one on the top and one on the bottom. I don't think I did that very well last time. You know, I remember doing this last time. Where I pushed them both in when I should be pushing them both in from different sides, because you can see right here in that slit they need to be on both ends. And I kind of, if you shove them in one after another, you don't quite get that effect. So I remember doing that. Has it been a couple of years now? But I can shove them on through and restart the process. He says, hopefully. May have to pry it open a little bit. There we go. Okay, you know, it's been a while. Oh, there's a lip on the bottom. Okay, that's right, it's been a while. Shove the first one in all the way in until it hits that lip at the bottom. So there you go. There you go. There's a lip at the bottom to help catch it. So push that first one in all the way in, and then push the second one in. That's right, it's been a while. And then, as best you can, make sure the bearings line up. And let's see if we can get that on film. It may be hard to see. I may have to put this different angles. Yeah. That the lines line up. Yeah. That way you got better coverage. Okay, now that we got that going, let's we got to put these little nuts back in. So one goes in there on the inside and one goes on the outside. Kind of hard to place, but fun stuff. Hey, come on. Oh, there we go. Cool. Slid in there if you can see it. And there's one that goes on top here.
No, I can't see that first one. You're at the wrong angle.
Let me get this one in, and I can show it a little better.
Just leave it there like this.
I can do that. Okay, kind of smush that in, and then you can hopefully see those two.
Yep.
Okay. Now we got to get this screw back on here and line them up, and then just screw it back in. Should be as easy as that. Oh, not those. But the ones that are long enough.
The ones down below, the long ones. You just took that.
Oh, I took the wrong one.
3 ones.
Yeah, this is the one that was attached to the pulley. That's right. Okay. Get those on. Okay, and then what do we got to do? That goes back here. So we can see, yeah, looks like they did a little bit of a different design here. Looks like it's got a little bit of a bump to it. Always doing some tweaks, aren't they? So then I can get this in here.
Can you just sit on there? You can just tuck it off with the wires.
Well, I did. But it'll eventually pull itself in.
Oh, okay.
I'll just leave it out for now. So now I got a new pulley, and I can reuse this bolt just fine. And then what I need to do is to put the pulley here for now. I mean, I can disassemble this, and I'm probably going to go tighten this once I'm done, but for now, I'm trying to be lazy and try to keep as much of it together as I can. So the lazy route, get that pulley on. Put it the right way, because this needs to be on the top, just like this one. And then get that hole lined up. Put it all the way through. And right now it is screwing into the plastic itself a little bit, which is fine because it'll not an issue. And now you see it coming out on the back side. And then it should just be a matter, there's enough coming out that I can just, oh, I can even get the nut on there a little bit. Get that on there a little bit, and then tighten her up good. But not too good. You want to make sure, yeah, you want to back that out a little bit because you want to make sure the pulley is moving. So it's not just sliding against that metal. You want to make sure, because see, what can happen is I can pull this too tight and the plastic can close in on the pulley and the pulley won't move. You don't want that. You want the pulley to move mean, you want it snug in there, but you want the pulley to move freely. It might be hard to show, but you know, do some tests like this and feel it. Make sure, yeah, that's moving freely. You can probably tighten a little bit more, but make sure. Yes, that's a little too tight. That feels real good. Okay, so now I got that.
Put it on, those two things.
Now that, yeah. I should have put it on first. The things we learn. Well, with the method I'm using right now, because I want to keep as much of it assembled. So let me take this off. Get that pulley out. Now that's probably going to hold right there. It's kind of pushed in a little bit. And then I'm going to push these guys in. Up. Yeah, fun time. That's taking a little bit of pressure. Whew. Well, now it's moving this way. Alright, just gotta... Okay, it might be a good place to break. I'm gonna take a small break. I may have to take this off and on and make sure it gets on there nice and tight. Okay, I found the secret. So the secret sauce to doing this is to just actually pull it out from the other side. So this is loosened up enough that, you know, it's still tight, it's fine, I don't think there's any problem, but it's just, well, now I got it in there good. Okay, I don't know if I can get it back out, but I put them in here and I slammed them down. In fact, I did it slightly one side by, I put it on one leg, tapped, one leg, tapped, until I got them both down even. So, and that seemed to work. And I'm not concerned about the other side, because it's not loose, it's just not tight, you know, like how it was when it originally was new. So now I'm just going to put it back in, get it back on this side, make sure it gets all the way to the end, and I think now, hopefully, I'm good. Now, let's get that pulley, now let's get the pulley back in, so pull it tight, kind of shove it in there, and I should have plenty of room because this is loose over here, right? So all I want to do is get that lined up there so I can get my screw in, get my bolt in. I think I went too far. Let's see. There you go. Come on. Get that line. There we go. Get that lined up just right. Make sure it's hooking on the other side, which it is. We want it tight. We want it snug. If we get it too tight, like I said, it's not gonna move freely. Of course, now I gotta do this little job to.
Remember the other side of these.
Yeah, I can always, well, this is something I can always tweak after the fact after I get it back on. So now we've got all that together. Now, at this point, I could just put it all back together, and I think I'm good. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it all back together, but then I'm going to adjust the belt. So I'm going to leave this unhooked right now. And this has these two guys that connect it, right?
Yep.
Yep. I'm going to double check on that. Does it go deep enough? Yep. So I'm going to leave that loose for now. I'm going to get this all back together, and then I'm going to have to try to take this back off of here, and that's where I can adjust the tightness on here, because these, you can't see it until I take it off, but these connect back into there. So we have the lower part moves back and forth, the upper part's actually attached in there. So, without speaking too much now, let me see if I can get this back together. Okay, so there we go. Make sure our cables are okay. And then I have to do a little bit of an interesting job here to get these over under, right? So, over under. Well, how do you do this nicely without messing anything up, right? Try the other side first then. Get you on. Okay, maybe I'll put you in front. There you go, put it in front like that, which is probably not the best idea in the world, but only one I have going right now. And I could. Put this one down. There we go. That might. And stretch it a little bit. I don't like that, but I'm going to cheat anyway. Okay, so now that side is not attached yet. Neither side is.
Oh, these are hitting back, right?
Yeah, this is not a good way to do it, but I'm trying to be lazy, and hopefully I don't break anything. Ah, there we go. Do that at your own risk. I think that it's probably better to take it apart. Also, I need to get this guy in, which, you know, I guess it's not a problem, right? Because the top's not on yet, duh. Okay, now. Okay, so that top part's a little tweaking. Do that at your own risk. I'm not too concerned about it, but you know, if you're not careful, maybe you could break something. So, okay. So now let's get these back on, and these, as you see, that's where the screw's going, and that's where the rod's going to hold that firmly in place. Let's get one of them on. One, and then get the other one in there. Get them nice and tight. That should be good. Tight, tight. Get the other one on. The more I do stuff like this, the more I feel for people who are trying to make how-to videos, trying to fix something and not get their hands in the way while they show you how they fix stuff. I'm not that good at it still, so sometimes my hand is in the way. I apologize, but my wife tries to make sure. My wife, my camera crew / wife, tries to get the best shot she can. Okay. So there we go. And now I don't need to be, if you're familiar with the i3 Mark III, you know, you don't need to get this perfectly level because it will self-level itself when I start it up. Okay. So let me pause for a second and let me go take this back part apart so I can get to that to more fine-tunedly adjust the belt tension. Okay. I ran into a little gotcha. So it's interesting. Prusa's always tweaking parts, which is good. He's making them better. You know, they find a fault. Now, mine's, you know, you can probably go look through my history when I built this. I forget how long it's been. But if you look at this, they're different slightly. This is thicker than this. So there must have been some issue with this. And so they made it a little thicker, a little stronger. I was getting a little thrown off because I felt like I was reassembling it wrong, and I did. So the bolts that were on here are the exact bolts that fit over here. And so here they are. So that you'll need to get bolts like this, which are 20 millimeters. So from top to, yeah, 20 millimeters from top. Prusa, when I bought this, they have a bunch of extra bolts, so I had some extra bolts lying around, thank goodness. So I'm going to get this one back in here that I took out as an example. So to get this part, now if you didn't get a new part, I could put my old part on, and it would be okay. And then I wouldn't have to worry about getting a different bolt. But, you know, just to let you know that they're always updating parts and doing some tweaks. So now, these bolts, you know, one's going to go here, and one's going to go here to get this on. I did a little test, and it turns out I'm good. I don't need to put any more tension on than what this is going to do. So you kind of get that in here, and then I pull it until I can hit that bolt. There we go. Get that on there, and so that's my tension. Now in the newer one, you can see there's a bolt down here, and you can see this can slide a little bit, so that can give you a little tension adjustment. I don't have that, but if you do, hooray, that gives you a little bit more wiggle room than I have. Now as I got this on, after everything was fixed, it feels like it should be fine. If anything, it feels like it's too tight. But let me get this on. Okay, let me get that on. And see, that's pretty tight. I think I'm going to be good. If anything, it's too tight. But if you do need to adjust it, or if I need to loosen it, the way to do it, let's see if we can get the light over here. Without taking this thing completely apart, I can take out 5 bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I don't need to touch these 2. You take those off, and this whole thing can kind of come off. You may have to disconnect this if you have that, and kind of wiggle it, and then you'll see that these top parts are kind of hooked in. And so what you would do is you loosen this again, and take that out, adjust it. You may have to cut it even because there's only so much room in there. Put it in how you want, and then hook it back up. And you can find that in the notes on the assembly, but I just wanted to point that out. But I think I'm fine. So now, I think I'm fixed. So now let me go put my plate on and try to print something and see how well it does. In fact, I did get a new plate too, because the plates are somewhat sacrificial, so it's probably a good idea to buy a new plate every so often too. So I got a new plate, and we'll see how it does. Okay, so I printed one out, and I've gotten it fixed. So it's still a little tight. You can see compared to the other one. But it is split. So it is working. I may have to go look at some other settings, but I mean it is. If I put this together, it is. You know, I didn't do anything. It's split, so that's how it should be. So that fixed that. I think I'm not liking how it's finishing up here. That should be a little bit more smooth, but that could be, maybe I need to replace the nozzle. But this has been fixed, so I think I'm good to go. There might be some more tweaks to get some better cleanness to it, but that was a problem. It's fixed. Good to go. I can print again.
Hey, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, hey, give it a thumbs down. Also, if you like what we're doing here, subscribe to the channel by clicking the subscribe button. And lastly, have a piece of info to share? Just post a comment.